good afternoon. Will Vietnam grow old before it becomes rich? 50% of the population in Vietnam today is under the age of 30. The 2050 generation are those who will enter old age at mid-century. However, a demographic bonus does not automatically bring blessings. As a newly emerging middle-income country, the current social security system covers only 1/5 of the old age population, of which most are not poor. What policies and strategies can proactively support this anticipated level of population ageing? I want to share with you a missing pillar in a revision of a model of healthy, successful ageing. First, I will present the context, then the model, and discuss the AAA standard. The first national ageing survey has just been completed this year with a sample size of 4,000 households across the whole country, with a cohort groups of 50 years plus. I've explored qualitatively with a selection of 60 participants, individual ageing on household dynamics, intergenerational relations, and care. The context is formed of 3 unique C's: a capitalist economy with market liberalisation and reform from the mid-1980s, a communist society, well defined at the local, central and national level, and a Confucian home with traditional values, the value of filial piety, and this value remains strong today. Every home has an altar of remembrance to the ancestors. China made a mistake when it pushed out the role of the family. The social welfare system then imploded. Traditionally, when the familial support dries up, the state steps in and is left with a burden. Here we have something fascinating: a Sino-Soviet political regime which is beginning to recognise the value and importance of the intergenerational contract. The key is the balance, and the family continues to come first. There is no crowding out or crowding in effect. So let me show you the traditional model of healthy, successful ageing, devised in '98 by Rowe and Kahn. However, in this country context, in Vietnam, it doesn't work. So what does the data we have show is the missing link? It's the family, the intergenerational contract. I'll explain. Health, an adequate level of healthcare support and provision. Here is an opportunity for both the private and state sector with increasing commercialization. Economics, an affordable baseline to live on. Here, targeted coverage is required first of all, especially the rural poor elderly, and the spread of a social insurance system that covers everyone. One dimension I've explored is the informal contribution to socio-economic development, particularly in terms of childcare and freeing up adult workers, and secondly, older people working beyond retirement as a necessity. Thirdly, the social dimension covers community participation, activities, volunteering, religious and spiritual activities, an acceptable level of interaction. But underpinning the whole dimensions is the intergenerational contract. Care remains within the home, and transfers of support, financial and emotional, go upwards as well as downwards. Familial relations protrude into all aspects. Remove these dimensions, or failing to capitalise on them, let them fade, and there may be organised chaos. So to conclude, generational change takes time. Feelings and obligations take time to change. Younger generations are born into the culture and embrace it. Care homes are still non-existent in Vietnam. It's taboo to abandon the elderly. A golden opportunity now exists with the interaction between young and old. I bet that now is the time to put in place the right policies and proactive ones that will continue to reaffirm the role of the intergenerational contract. But beyond 2020, all bets are off. An ageing society is a remarkable achievement, but produces concern for public policy. In the words of Henry Castilles, who closed the Global Forum on Longevity last year, there is no written script. Everything is in our hands. We just have to organize ourselves.
I would like to know if you have in mind any policy on taking care of the elders in the world that for you is a good example.
Essentially, it is the family. The evidence that we have does suggest that care will remain within the home. Many investors have thought that perhaps building care homes would be a good opportunity, but actually in the Vietnamese context, we believe that that won't work. People still do want to remain within a multi-generational household unit, and the projections show that that will remain strong for at least the next 20 years. So it's a mix between both the state and private sector, and also the family and the household. It's a balance between all those things in successful aging.
You said that the intergenerational contract has broken down in China. To what extent is that the case? Because from here it seems that it's not the case. So can you expand on that?
Mm-hmm. China now has a very advanced, a top-heavy aging population, which will in the next few years slow down its economic growth, but particularly in the rural areas in China, there hasn't been a developed social security system. So a few years ago, the government said, well, we'll expand coverage across the whole country, and actually we will replace the role of the family. You know, the state has to come first, and actually that hasn't worked because the financing of that scheme just didn't happen.
What will happen in 20 years? Because you're talking about it will stay that way for the next 20 years. So when this intergenerational contract doesn't work anymore, what happens?
Well, I just want to leave you with a thought. The 21st century will be the last century of youth.